guess it's just a riptide. Don't want to be broken, cause I still keep hoping that my future is not as bad as it seems. And I swear I will be patient there to me, but I know that people always prejudice. Still my neck inside is me just like a kid. Older, older, I feel I'm getting older, older. I feel I'm getting older, 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 older.
What's good? Y'all read the title. I'm gonna be breaking down like a rod wave, by your side, street runner type loop where you got the piano, the vocal sample on top. I don't want to waste any y'all's time though, so let's just get into the tutorial. Alright, so the first thing I'm gonna say is that the process of making these melodies, for me, the way I do it, the way I made this loop, is it's kind of just like making a normal pain loop if you know how to do that. And you just do a couple things throughout making it to where you can add that vocal loop at the end and it'll sound good. And first thing we're gonna start with is the piano. And so I'm gonna pitch it up too because that's the original key I played it in. And for this is like the foundation of making it be good. Like when you add that vocal loop at the end, it's you want to like arpeggiate your chords. Like you don't want to play them static like this. You do not want that. You want to add some like cool arpeggiation into it, and then you want to keep the arpeggiation pretty consistent, like the rhythm it's playing in. And that's because since you have this vocal loop going on, you need to like fill in the spots between the phrases behind all the words. Like you don't just want it to sound like an actual song. You want it to feel like a sample. And then to like elaborate on that further, you want like a consistent rhythm behind it because you have so much variation already with the whole like vocal sample. Like you want something to stay consistent and like kind of tie it together well. And that's why you want to keep that arpeggiation very consistent in the way it plays. And so what I did is I kept this pretty much the same throughout the whole sample. And this is really like my chords right here, like these right here. And it's just the first and then the fifth and then the first again. And I just played it like this. So I went like that. So I just played my root, my fifth an octave up, and then just kind of filled it in. So and I just kind of kept repeating that on top like I said, and that was it. Like this part's pretty simple. I used a really simple progression too. Like the chords I actually played were like the most basic chords in Pain. So 1 7 6. So if you don't know the theory behind it, pretty much just pick any note, and then every time you're gonna play a new chord, you're just gonna go down 2. So 1 2 1 2, and then I went back up a little bit at the end. And then for the effects on the piano, really simple. I just cut out some of the lows. You don't want to cut out too much so you still have that like fullness, but you want to make a little bit of room for the bass. Added a little bit of reverb, just Valhalla, and then this cool effect rack preset. And the next thing you have is your top melody, and this is pretty simple. It's also like whenever you have the vocal loop, you don't want to go too crazy in the top keys. Like there's some Pain melodies where you'll hear them like rip the keys. I'm personally just not capable of that. Like I'm not gonna lie and act like I could in a different melody. And especially for these vocal melodies, you don't want too much going on. Like already having a whole vocal loop is already enough for like to throw the rapper off whenever they're trying to hop on this. But adding like all these other like extra melodies is just gonna make it hard for them to find their melodies. So keep it kind of simple and just get repetitive. What I did is I just kind of freestyled it in, and you can see kept it really simple in the beginning, and then at the end I would do a simple but like more faster paced, a little bit more complex run at the end of everything. And so the best way to go about that is either to just click it in if that's what you do, or I like playing just the sample on repeat, and then I'll just freestyle in keys, and either you can click record or do this dump to score log, and then you can just dump it in right here like what you've been playing. And all it really takes is you to keep playing and just find one good melody, and then you know how we do it. We can just come up here and chop it up and make it sound good and repeat it over again and get your little variations afterwards. But you really just need one good melody, and in my personal opinion, that's the best organic and quickest way to find that is just playing in all the keys. But for this, same effects, I just add more of them whenever I do this. I just add more reverb, more of the effect rack. Once you have that, like your whole foundation of your melody is really done. There's two things I always add afterwards. I'll always add like a Rhodes. So I'll just go into Analog Labs, grab a random Rhodes, and then I'll just layer the chords. So just copy and paste the chords. And then you need a bass too. And this is the best bass for Pain for sure. It's a Scarby Rickenbacker bass. Great preset. It's the Night Sessions, great for Pain. Like if you gonna really like take this Pain sample seriously, I suggest getting it, or obviously just playing in the bass yourself. But pretty simple right here. All I did was kind of add this cool little bounce in the beginning, just this. Just that, and so it's just the 2 hits in the beginning, and then I'll add like some type of switch up, just some little run towards the end of all these chords, and just follow the roots. That's it right there. And once you have that, that's like really like you got the Pain melodies like done, and now you're really just adding ear candy. That's what I look at it now. And so I didn't use any of this except this first arcade. I used this Deserted preset. It's just this guitar, and this was, like I said, it's just ear candy. So sounds like this. And for the effects on that, I just put some EQ, make it subtle, reverb, make it subtle, and then this vinyl, and I just turned the wear up a little bit again to make it subtle. Once I had that, the last melody I added was this little bell, and it's super simple beat. And I actually added this after I added the vocal loop, just because I wanted some variation up in there. This is where the sauce comes in, obviously, the big part. And like, y'all gonna be kind of happy, but like annoyed to hear that it's a simple process. Like it can be complicated if you want it to be. I've seen guys, and I've done it once or twice, where you go in, you find like a whole song or this weird acapella off YouTube, you strip it down, get the vocals, and then you kind of build your chords around the vocals that you already have. Like you can do it that way. But I went to Splice. I did a lot of searching, I'm not gonna lie. I found this cool little sample that had some cool lyrics and shit that really like fit the vibe the sample gave me, and then I just put it on top of this. And thing about Splice, you don't have to worry about legal rights, you don't have to worry about the sample ever getting cleared, because obviously it's from Splice. And then you have the key and the tempo, so you can easily get like time stretch it and get the key right. And so that's all I did right there. And when you're looking for one, like if you're just looking for a vocal loop, I'd say the biggest things about like making one that would fit good is like, obviously you want it to be as close to an acapella as you can, and you want a lot of space. If you look, like it's not, the reason it's not like a whole song is because there's so much space between all the words right here. And so that's what I did. And if you want more of like a sound from the album, like from like a by your side type vibe for it, you could just pitch this up. Like even you can just add some variation too. Like if you want to pitch it up like an octave, bring it back down. Like that's just a cool way to flip it between being the hook of the song, like just being like a cool little intro sample. But if you pitch it up, it can be more of like a melody. Like the rapper can rap on top of it better. So that's something to keep in mind. I didn't do it for this melody, but just a little piece of knowledge for y'all. But I think that's about the tutorial. I appreciate all the support. I'm gonna try to stay on this grind for sure. Try to keep more tutorials, more shit coming at y'all, and I'll hopefully see y'all in the next one.